Pharisee and the tax collector. They walk into the temple. The Pharisee, Jesus says, stands off by himself and prays to God. God, I thank you that I am not like the other people. Thieves, rogues, adulterers, or even this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give a tenth of all my income. Meanwhile, the tax collector stands in the back, beating his chest, looking down. He can barely get out his prayer. God, be merciful to me, a sinner. And after that, Jesus tells us it is the tax collector who is saved, not the Pharisee. Now, if I were to ask you guys, why is it that the tax collector is saved and not the Pharisee? What would we say? See, normally we point to the self-righteousness of the Pharisee, to the actual repentance of the tax collector, right? That's the common answer here. But we have to be careful for a few reasons. See, even though the Pharisee's prayer sounds pretty bad to our ears today, it was actually pretty in line with prayers of the time. Listen for a minute. Just listen to this model prayer from the Talmud. Now, this was meant to be said whenever you left a house of study. I give thanks to thee, O Lord my God, that you have given me my lot with those who sit in the seat of learning, and not with those who sit at the street corners like the shopkeepers. For I am early to work, and they are early to work. I am early to work on the words of the Torah, and they are early to work on things of no moment. I weary myself, and they weary themselves. But I weary myself, they weary themselves. I for profit, they for no profit. I run, and they run. I run toward the life of the age to come. And they run toward the pit of destruction. It's not exactly far off from the Pharisee's prayer this morning, is it? You see, we always want to say it's all those I statements that condemn the Pharisee. It's the hubris and self-centeredness that keep him from being justified. But no, that isn't it. It isn't that simple. You see, we are all centered selves, right? We see the world as surrounding ourselves. To be human is to be centered on yourself. It's not the problem. The reason the Pharisee is not justified is because he intentionally separates himself from the common humanity, linking him to the tax collector. He sees himself as above that sinner. You can almost hear the disdain the Pharisee has for the tax collector in his prayer. Of all the possible sinners, he ends specifically with, or like this tax collector, spitting out those words, pure vitriol. The Pharisee has forgotten that all humans are sinful. The other part we must remember is about this tax collector. Many of us here likely think that the tax collector is saved because he repents, right? He goes, he repents, and so he is saved. He says, be merciful to me, a sinner. Does anyone see a problem with that notion? It's easy to miss, don't worry. It is vital for us to understand the problem with that, though. Because it helps us understand the story and the nature of God. If we say the tax collector is saved because he repents, we turn repentance into a work, and salvation into something that we have to earn. Is there anyone who can actually earn salvation? See, it's a foundational belief of the Reformed tradition that we are saved only by grace through faith. There is nothing we can do to earn God's grace. There's no price we can pay, no debt we can settle, no amount of groveling we can do. that will earn us God's grace.